Let me share my screen and then we can start. Okay, so what actually is the agenda for today's session? Basically, we will be going through the thick line misconfigurations. So we'll be understanding what are the specific checks which should be done within the thick line application, right? How we will be able to do that, and then we'll be understanding how we can do our automated code review, right, within the thick line application itself. The first thing which we'll be understanding is application signing. Now, first of all, what actually is application signing? Why it is recommended to have the signed application, and what are the benefits of it, right? So normally what happens is whenever we are having any particular type of application, many times we might be able to see that the application, whenever we are seeing, right, whenever we are trying to install, it will be showing you that something like publisher and unknown publisher, right? This kind of things. Now what actually will be happening here? So these are the applications where this kind of details are available, right? So at that point of time, these are the applications which will be an unsigned application. So at that point of time, whenever the developers are compiling this application, they will not be adding their own signatures within the application, right? So basically at that point of time, we will not be able to confirm, okay, or any of their customers will not be able to confirm whether that particular application is available from a legitimate source or not, whether there is any kind of modification which has been done within the application. Okay, so all of those kind of things will not be available. Now, what happens is, for example, there is a legitimate software, something like Notepad++, right? Now, what happens is, after that, once attacker is getting those specific details, basically, they will be trying to go forward and integrate their own malwares, right, within that application. And the resultant value will be some specific, like the resultant application will be having something like any, like they can mark it up like Notepad++ latest version, or crack of Notepad++, or anything like that. Later on, basically, even though if here there is no specific authorized signature, right? So at that point of time, even the resultant will not be having any specific type of things, and they can upload it, right? So if you are getting this kind of things, we will not be able to identify what actually, whether it is from an valid source or not. Now, in case if there is the other way, where they are having the specific signatures within their application, once they are trying to integrate anything, okay, so the signature will be removed, and we will be able to identify as the customers that, okay, there is something uh, malicious which is going on there, right? Basically at that point of time, the signature was previously available, and it was the legitimate, but now actually it is not available, right? So that is the thing which we will be able to see at that point of time. Now, how actually we will be able to identify whether the signatures are available or not, right? So basically, from the Microsoft Sys internals itself, there is one application, one tool which has been provided to us, which is called SignCheck, right? So basically, this particular tool will be giving us those specific details, that whether the application is having the authorized signature or not, right? What actually, whether it is having those specific details or not. If not, we will be able to raise the same thing as an vulnerability. Now, this will not be a critical vulnerability high level, right? It will be a low level vulnerability. Okay, many times based on the application, this will be an informational level vulnerability, but definitely this will be very much useful for our clients to go forward and implement the same, because at that point of time, their customers will be protected by using their application. Otherwise, it will be upon them that, okay, they might have found that particular thing from some invalid sources, and basically they have gotten infected by within the system, right? So their reputation might go down. So basically all the links again will be available, as you guys are already knowing, right? So basically I, just to save time, what I have done is I have taken up that particular tool, and I have downloaded, and this is a command line tool. What we will do is we will just go forward and we will take it up. So basically SignCheck is there, SignCheck 64 is there. Currently our version of the operating system is 64-bit, so basically we will utilize that. I will type here cmd in the path so that I can open command line within this particular path, and we will be utilizing SignCheck, right? This is the one. Now what we will be doing is, after entering that, basically what we will be doing is we will be taking up the thick client application. Now the thick client application beta fast we have already used previously, so you will be able to you might be having that the same application within your system itself, right? So no need to download a separate application for that. We will take up that particular path. Now, if your path contains some kind of spaces, again, our system or command line will not be able to detect. So basically what we'll do is we will just add a brackets there. So here you can see if you are having the double inverted commas before and after, it will be able to identify that, okay, this is the one which is a the space is also included in the path. Otherwise, it will not be able to go forward and have that. I will just copy, and we will complete the full path by entering the name of the application, right? And once we are done with that, here it will be seeing that when actually it will be having the verify that when what actually is the things, right? Whether it is signed or not, whether it is verified or not, if yes, then what actually is the publisher and the company name, right? What is the version of that particular application? Now all of those specific things will be taken up within the application itself, and will be able to identify what we need to look for. Here it should be signed rather than unsigned. If it is unsigned, we can take the screenshot and we can go forward and report the same thing to the client itself. Second thing is the other compiler protection checks. Now, what actually are these compiler protection checks? Typically, whenever they are developing that particular application, they will be having many of the security implementation which can do from the operating system level itself. Something like we had seen, right, previously, that they need to enable this DEP and ASLR, right? Similar to that one, there are multiple other particular compilation compiler protections which should be enabled, and basically that whether that particular things are enabled or not, that is what we'll be looking at in this particular phase. So there is one another particular tool which is again from Microsoft itself. What it will do is it will be giving us the same details. It will be giving us whether those specific compiler protections are enabled or not, and basically we will be able to see that particular result as well. So in this scenario, again, you can use the same link to download those specific things. Now what we will do is we will just go forward and we will take that. Now here you can see I am having that particular application pre-installed. So what we will do is I will just take up that particular application. Then we need to give, or we need a file for an output, right, which can give us all the details. So we'll be giving the verbose. Verbose will be whatever are the details which are done within the backend. Those specific things can be shown up within our command line as well. We will give the output file as an HTML and log file which contains all of those specific details. We'll be giving the path of the output file as an HTML, and then we will be giving the application itself. So in that we will enter verbose, right, to give us those specific details. Then we'll be going forward and giving the HTML and log file. So these are the arguments which we need to go forward and give for tool to understand what actually is the output or what type of output we are looking for. We will be entering the output file name. So I will enter Misconfigurations underscore the name of the tool. So 𝗤𝗏fast.html, and then we will be giving the that particular file name itself. Or path if it is in some another particular place. So here you can see it is in the same place. We will be giving the name. So this is the one. Now once we are done with that, typically what it will do, it will check all of those specific details and it will complete. Now whenever we are going through that particular application, we'll be able to go forward and see that the output file. So here we had taken up that particular output. So here you can see the 𝗔𝗃𝗶 underscore beta fast, right? So this is the one. What we can do is anyhow this is an HTML file. We can open it within our particular browser itself. I will just double click on it and open it. And here we will be able to see all of those specific details which are available within this particular application. We will wait for a few seconds for it to load all the GUI interface of that particular all the code within the browser itself. I will just click on wait. Again, you know there is a bit of a memory shortage in this particular system, so it is a bit slow. It will take some seconds to. Let me just exit it and reload it. I believe this will be loading in a second. And then we'll be able to see what all are the checks which are passed and which are not passed, right? So those specific things we will be able to see. Let me just go close it a bit and reload it once more. So again, this particular issue, the slow application, right? I am seeing within my system because I have allocated very less memory compared to what actually it requires to process all the things in a good manner. So that is the main reason why I'm seeing this particular things. But again, if you're doing the same thing within your system, you'll be able to get the result within a few seconds itself, right? Or the tools will be much more faster, and you'll be able to get all of those specific results within some seconds itself. We will wait for a few seconds and then we'll be able to get. After that, we will be understanding what actually are those specific compiler protections, what are those specific for, and then we will be understanding how we will be what all things we will be reporting at that point of time. Yep. So basically this has been available. Now what we'll be doing is we will click on show all details. What will happen is it will be giving us all of those specific things that what actually it has been checking up and whether it was passed or not. Main things, if there is any failed checks, we will be able to get that particular details here. Okay, and whatever are the things which are in the past stage, we will be able to see it here. Now, what all things it is checking and what all things are worth to go forward and report it, right? So the first one is the specific version of that particular files, right? Within the application, right? What all are those specific dependencies which the application is having, right? So whether they are available or not, and whether there is any kind of vulnerable version which is available or not. So that is what it will be checking. Second thing is compiler version check. So whenever the application has been compiled and at that point of time it has been turned into an executable file. So what actually was the version which was available and whether it is able to execute in the older versions of compiler or not. So that is what it will be checking. If it is able to execute and if it is having older version which are again having the publicly known vulnerabilities. So at that point of time it will be fail. The database check, what actually are those specific at that point of time, whenever there is any specific type of links, or whenever there is any specific type of any kind of navigations within the application, right? How exactly it is, whether all the things are mentioned in a static manner, or whether it is something like where the application is not able to take, like something like what we had in the DLL hijacking, right? So at that point of time, it was taking it was having one static path where it was just validating those specific type of things, right? So in case if rather than DLL, if there is some kind of image file which is taking from a static path, right? So how actually it is, right? Whether it is static or dynamic. So that is what it will be available. Then there will be the default imports and cookie checks. So at that point of time, whatever are the cookies which are available, whether they are having proper implementation or not, what are the imports, right? DLLs, whether those are properly implemented or not. Safe buffer checks and initialization checks. So basically, when it comes to the specific buffers, right, whether it is in the heap or stack, how actually it is, how we will be able to get that particular details, right, within our application. So those specific things will be available here. Entropy checks will be how much encryption it is doing, right? If there is a higher level of entropy, the encryption will be much more in an unbreakable manner. If there is a lower level of entropy, typically what happens is either it is in plain text or it is not in a proper encrypted format. So if it is passed, typically the application is using good amount of encryption. Then it will be the specific checks regarding what actually are those specific keys which are being used within the application. So at that point of time, whether that particular keys might be specific to identify the uniqueness of the application or that particular data which is it is being which it is functioning, right, which it is taking and validating, whether it will be the keys during the transport. So all of those specific keys it will be validating and will be able to check. In the shared section and those specific memory related checks where the specific memory which is allocated by the application, right, for the application, what actually whether that particular thing is mentioned like having that protected space or not. Yes, if yes, and then it will be passed, otherwise it will be no. So these are the checks which will be available. Typically what we'll be having is we will be keeping like we should be expecting all the things like this one itself, whether it will be passed. Now if it is a fail, typically we'll be able to report it again. Much more things, right? Here the exploitation will not be that much available because these are the memory side checks, right? So at that point of time, if this particular checks are available, right, memory dump will not be containing all of those specific details, or that particular version of the application will like the dependencies will not be vulnerable. So those kind of things will be there. Again, this will be an low level vulnerability itself, but basically we will be reporting it. Many times in this one, as for my projects, what happens is many times this kind of vulnerabilities, right? So normally default this cookies and the imports, right? These are the things which are mostly failed within my projects. And if one like once I report it, they might be having some of or another business justification because they want specific imports for their application to be function. So typically if there is something like that, we will be accepting, they will be accepting the risk, and they will ask us to make it as an make it as an acceptable case within their end, and we need to have that particular vulnerability itself, right? So again, it is not that much critical. We can allow if they are having the valid business justification within their end. So these are the specific things. Again, 𝗃𝗶𝗶 is officially from the Microsoft itself, so that it will only give us those specific results. Okay, any doubts, any queries till now in the previous one, which is sign check, and this one?
Now Keval,
Yes.
can we get a detail about this thing, because there are so many checks
Yep.
actually. So what exactly this check, because it is showing, for example, VB6 check.
Correct.
Okay, so what exactly they cover under a VB6 check? Okay, because based on that, miss, we require that bifurcation, because based
Correct.
on that
That
our
is already there.
remediation or suggestion will be changed
Yeah. So
to
that is
the
already there.
development team.
I will like anyhow, like you will be getting the checklist, right? The cheat sheet, right? So in that all these checks are
Hmm.
available, and what actually is the remediation for each and every one is also available. So I anyhow, like after this session, I will be sharing that particular file itself within the
Okay,
drive.
great. Yeah, thank you.
So this was the bin scope. Now the next one is automated code review. Now what actually is this one? Now many times what will happen is we will be getting those specific files, like all the bundle files where our code and all of those specific things are also available, and that is the scope of the project. Typically what happens is many times we are having the scope of the project as just the executable file where we will be executing the file and we will be getting that particular result, right? Many times within the bundle there will be multiple code, the application files which will be having the code of it. So basically at that point of time we can go forward and take that particular code up, and we can see whether there is any kind of vulnerabilities which we can find within the code itself or not, right? So for this one, we will be using Visual Code Grepper because that is one of the good tool which is having the open source, and we are able to get good amount of result. But now based on the application to application, this particular tool might be changing. Some of the other organizations might be using some of the other commercial tools. Any tool you can use. Basically, the main thing is in case if you have that particular files, you can just go through it and you will be able to validate whether there is any specific type of vulnerabilities which are available or not. So here we'll be using Visual Code Grepper, but many times there might be the situation where your organization might be using another one, right? So you can utilize the same thing, other one as well. Let us go forward and open it. We'll open that, and typically here I am having one of the project which is having all of those specific type of code files. Here you can see add user form and those kind of .app.config and those specific type of files are there. Okay, and within the bin we are having that particular executable file, right? So that is also available with us, and within the other files, right? So here you can see all the configuration files are also available, right? So typically whatever we see as a bundle, right, if that bundle is available here, right, all the CS files are there and configuration files are there and exe file is there. So likewise all those specific file is there. What we'll be doing, we will just go forward and click on OK, and here we'll be having this option, right? The first thing which we need to do is we need to set up which language that code is in. Typically, this particular thing will be already given to us by our clients itself, whether it is C, C++, Java, PHP, COBOL, whatever is the code, right? So basically, that will be already available within our either project document, which they will be sharing, right? The scoping document, which they might be sharing, or they might be giving you that particular details over call or over mail, anywhere. We will just first of all go to the settings and we will select that particular thing. So here it is C#. So basically I will select that. Then we will click on and we will add the specific new target directory, right? Because here all the bundle is there, right? There is no specific file. The full bundle is there. I will select the new target directory. We will go forward and I will go to that particular folder. I will select the full folder itself, right? Where all the executable files and all the files, configuration files, everything is available. I will click on OK. The first thing which it will do is it will import all the files which are available. Now, once it has been imported, we will click on scan and we will click on full scan. What it will do, it will go forward and it will check whether there is any specific type of vulnerabilities which are available or not. And basically it will give us those specific result. So what actually it will do, first let us wait for a few seconds for this to get completed. Okay, now it is completed. What it will do is it will be giving us those specific results on whatever are the vulnerabilities which has been found, and in which particular place it has been found, and what actually is the line of code where it feels that okay, it is vulnerable, right? Whether there is any specific type of injection or anything, right? Any kind of broken authentication or any of those specific things, right? Basically we'll be able to go forward and see. Let us go forward with the main page and then we will come back here where all the breakdown is available. We will see that. So here you can see in the line number 39 in this particular file, which is dbmanager.cs, here it has found the potential SQL injection. Here also, basically, it has found in the other places as well the potential SQL injection. Likewise, if there is any particular type of other vulnerabilities which are available and where it is able to find those specific details, typically it will be able to show that details as well. Now let us go forward and see the detailed breakdown on what actually it was able to find. So here you can see there were somewhere around 800 lines of code. And at that point of time, what all are the commands and what all are the specific codes, everything it was able to see. Here you'll be able to go forward and see all the files, right? How many lines of code, how much percentage over of the total code, whatever are the unsafe flags, what are the potentially unsafe code. So all of those specific things will be able to see. Right, so basically here you can see within this particular place, which is dbmanager.cs, there were potentially 4 unsafe code, right, which we have already seen that it was potential SQL injection. So likewise, we'll be able to go forward and get all of those specific result, and we will be able to check it as well. Now it will not be something like every time this will be giving us true. There might be some of the options, like comparatively to other tools, this is giving us less false positives, right? But again, you can this is a tool itself, right? This is not something which is done by a human, right? So at that point of time, definitely this might be having false positives. So that is what we need to check it manually itself. Like in our next few sessions, we'll be understanding the front end, right, the client side SQL injection and all of those specific things. So at that point of time, whatever is the vulnerabilities, right, we need to go forward and we will be checking it manually, and then we will be validating it itself. Okay, so likewise, we'll be able to go forward and check with our automated code scanning as well. Any doubts, any queries, anything till now, guys? Yes, Kunal.
हाँ, एक काम करो ना, वो थिक क्लाइंट एप्लीकेशन पे क्लिक करो ना एक बार, कौन सा एप्लीकेशन डाउनलोड हो रहा है?
हाँ, ये रहा AVT करके एक
APT में
एप्लीकेशन है। हाँ, उसमें
ये पूरा एप्लीकेशन, ये सब फोल्डर्स भी आएंगे क्या उसमें?
हाँ, पूरा एप्लीकेशन के जो भी फोल्डर्स है ना, मतलब जो मेन फोल्डर है ना जहाँ पे बंडल पड़ा है, वही हम यहाँ पे ऐड करेंगे।
ओके, ये गूगल ड्राइव को ले मतलब रिडायरेक्ट हो रहा है या उसके साइड पे रिडायरेक्ट हो रहा
क्या चीज?
है? लिंक, वो लिंक
ये लिंक ना,
क्लाइंट का।
ये
हाँ,
है गिटहब का लिंक है। पूरा एप्लीकेशन वहीं पे पड़ा है, तो यहाँ से ही डाउनलोड कर सकते हो। ओके ओके,
So we can use also, this is like a SAST analysis, static
यस,
application security
करेक्ट
one.
करेक्ट, दिस
So
इज
we can use SonarQube also for the same, because in my
एनीवन
organization I have, yeah, SonarQube.
yeah. So every organization will be having different one, right? So whatever is the like one which your organization is using, you can use that.
Okay.
Okay. So any doubts, any queries till now, guys? Anyone?
No.
No? Okay. So what actually is our next step? Now our next vulnerability which we will be learning is regarding the traffic. So basically, we will be taking that particular our applications will be understanding how we can intercept the traffic. Okay, and basically we will go forward and we will try to check whatever are the HTTP requests that we can modify, right? Whatever are the other requests, we can see the data of how actually it is flowing. Now the main issue with the thick client application is typically thick client application might be using different set of protocols. It is not like web application or mobile application or API application which only uses HTTP or HTTPS. Here, it might be FTP, it might be SSH, it might be RDP, it might be any of the protocol which is available. The issue with this particular protocols is they will not be able to, like, we will be able to intercept by doing many workarounds, right? But there is the modification of those specific requests are not possible. The modification of the request of HTTP and HTTPS is possible, right? So what we are going to do basically for other protocols, we'll be validating that what actually is the protocol, what actually is the details within the protocol. So those kind of things we'll be having at that point of time. For this particular thing, which is HTTP and HTTPS, we'll be able to go forward and modify those specific requests within the burp suite, and we will be able to test the same way which we are doing within our normal applications as well. So how we are going to take this up? So basically, we will be having one of the script called MITM proxy, right? Man in the middle attack, right? So likewise, so basically at that point of time, we will be taking that script, we will be sending that particular details, we'll be configuring that particular details to send that things to burp suite, right? And basically at that point of time, we'll be able to get those details. Now for rest of those specific protocols, right, we'll be able to use one another tool called Eco Mirage. and we will be able to see how that particular request are flowing, right? So there we will not be able to go forward and modify, or even if we somehow try to modify the requests, we will not be able to get the proper result, because that particular protocols are not meant to go forward and have that particular scenario, right? So these are the main tools which we are going to use, and we'll be taking up that particular thing. And then our last thing will be seeing the client side vulnerabilities, right? So basically in the client side vulnerabilities, like client side SQL injection, client side authentication bypass, so those kind of things will be available, right? Now this particular thing we will be learning in our next session, and then in our next to next session we'll be learning the client side vulnerabilities. So these are the main things which are pending, so we'll be going forward and we'll be doing in our next all sessions at that point of time. Okay, any doubts, any queries, anything, guys?
So Keval, actually, as discussed, tomorrow, actually Thursday and Friday, I will be out of town. Basically, I have taken a leave because some family function is there. So will it be possible, like, we conduct this session on, upcoming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to finish this up, because I want to attend this kind of, because otherwise I will miss all the important sessions which are there.
Right. If Kunal is fine, it is not an issue for me. Kunal, what is your suggestion on this? So tomorrow, anyhow, like I will be in the full day audit itself. So most probably tomorrow I might not be available. I will be available on Friday. But yeah, whatever are the things which you guys are discussing, I have no issue in any of that. What is your suggestion,
Okay.
Kunal?
सॉरी, मुझे कॉल आ गया था, मैं वो बात कर रहे थे ना, तो मुझे कॉल आ गया था. क्या बोल रहे थे आप, मैंने सुना नहीं.
हाँ,
एक्चुअली कुणाल कैसा है ना, मेरा फैमिली फंक्शन है, तो थर्सडे केवल इज आल्सो हैविंग, उनका कोई ये है, क्या बोलता है, कुछ सेशन है, और ही विल नॉट एबल टू डू द सेशन और द दिस ट्रेनिंग. सो कल का तो नहीं होगा. So I'm just requesting, like, फ्राइडे का नहीं करते हैं, एंड डायरेक्टली मंडे ट्यूसडे वेडनेसडे में रैप अप कर लेते हैं जो बचा हुआ है, because these are the only session pending, like intercept the traffic and client side vulnerability. Yes, na Keval, as per
yes.
as
Yeah,
per
yeah,
my understanding.
correct.
Yeah.
So these are the things which are pending. Yep.
So most probably we will finish this one on Wednesday,
Yeah.
19th of
Correct.
April.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
पूरा बैच वेंसडे को खत्म हो जाएगा.
हाँ.
ओके, नो इशू.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. So let us join on.
अरे वो सर कल के रिकॉर्डिंग बोलो ना अपलोड करने के लिए.
हाँ.
और ये भी, ये वाला
Done. Will do.
और पीपीटी आप शेयर कर दीजिए.
हाँ, वो मैं कर देता हूँ. Okay. Sure.